Welcome to another episode of Know Your Enemy, featuring this time Arco. And I'll just start with the name. I'm not sure how that is pronounced. Since they are Greek inspired, I'm pretty sure that's a hard K. So Arcoscephale, Arcoscephale. I just call them Arco. Anyway, we know that their pretender is a great sage, so just what is called a rainbow pretender usually, I think, if you take many magic paths for small one, and he is a very low cost per magic path, and he increases the research of everyone in his province as well, and has his own research, which absolutely explains why Arco was doing so well on research in our game. From the title, we know that he has an astral of 4 or more, and we know that he has Dominion 8 or more. That's all we know. His Dominion I can't see on his capital, but it looks to me like he has Productivity 3. I can see that on his Throne Province, and it looks like he has Magic 1 and Misfortune and Heat 1. And no order, it looks like. So he can't be imprisoned because he's already awake. He could have started awake, or he could start dormant, I'm not entirely sure. I could look up the older score things maybe and see if he had very great Dominion in the early game. But it doesn't really matter. It's 150 points. So I think these are his scales. He could have a bit more. We'll see when I get to his capital. And the rest would then be in some sort of magic path, which we have no idea. We have no idea which. He has been doing some site searching, and he's been ahead on Gem and Com for a long time, so I'm guessing he has like a couple points in pretty much everything, or at least in all the elemental paths, and probably, I don't know, something like this, just a guess, a very generic thing. So overall, not really something I'm afraid to fight. Because, well, he can cast spell, and he has good research, so he can cast something that's only one guy, and it's just not like with a chassis like this, you don't go to very high magic skill, you just take a few small ones. The Astral, of course, is something that I know very little about, since I mostly play Agartha, and they don't have any of that, so I'll have to check up on that. It shouldn't make a big difference anyway. What is Pretenders doing now? So let's have a look at the nation. So first one is a scout. It's just a generic scout. Just could be recruited anywhere. Doesn't matter. So as leader, just the generic leadership 80, nothing else, and +1 morale for 3 squads. Just a good leader, and 70 gold I think is a bit undercosted, so I think those usually cost a bit more. But he's not anything to write home about otherwise. Probably has his army led by one of these. Chariot Commander. Trample. Okay, size 4 Trampler, that's good, but I'm pretty sure you never want to put your 10 hit point commander as a Trampler into the enemy. And that just begs to be killed, even with high defense and protection. I don't think he will recruit any of those. Courage champion to fire and flying. 60 leadership +0. Not afraid of these alone, like these don't look to be thug material. Flying med move 2. I'm guessing he has troops to go along with that, so yeah. don't look. Septic, stealthy 40, old age, and heretic. So he preaches like a level 3 priest automatically in any province he's in. So you don't want him in your own province, and or rather he lowers the dominion as if he was a level 3 priest. So you want to send him into enemy dominion, have him stealth there and preach, and have him lower that dominion, which I think is a very cool mechanic that I hadn't really seen before. Won't be much of a worry for me because he has map movement 1 and I'm very far away, so don't think that'll be relevant. I think in the early game maybe that could suck, but at this point I'm pretty sure he won't do anything with those near me. I wonder if these are capital only. Actually, let me look that up. Septic. Okay, so they're not capital only, so maybe a strategy could be built around these. Seems interesting, but at this point I'm not worried about those at all. Priestess, I'm sure that's not his researcher of choice. Research 755. Nature 1 I think does next to nothing. I don't know nature very well. That's another school that Agartha doesn't really have access to. Vine arrows. I think you build them only for the healer 3 thing, which removes afflictions, which means your units can live longer, which just lets them accrue more experience, which just makes your army that much stronger. I think that is a nice thing to have, and maybe I'm overvaluing it, but I think one of these in every army will do a lot. And it's a priest 2, which I think is a bit of an awkward spot. Priest 1 can cast Blessing, and Priest 3 can cast Divine Blessing, and Priest 2 can cast Sermon, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure you don't want to have 155 gold preachers running around. That seems not like something you would want to do. Mystic. Adept Researcher. Okay, so these are his researchers. 120 gold for 12. That's not that great actually, but they are also his combat casters. Astral 1 and... Okay. So that's very random paths. So these can potentially be super strong, but are very lightly weak. So here's Astral 1. So 1 and 4 has Astral 2, which I'm guessing is pretty good. But to get one of these, you need to hit the 50% chance on that, so it's a 12% chance for each one of those. I'm not good with numbers, so I don't know what the chance is to get one of the 3. If the chance of getting each one are 12.5%, so seems very random and can't go over to in any path, so makes pretty decent mages all around, I would say. But 120 gold and not sacred, you wouldn't want to keep them around forever. Like that's a lot of upkeep. Engineer, siege bonus, okay. Not sure if you want to build these. Like in my experience, if a fort is sieged, and then you'll take it sooner or later, and if you take it a turn or 2 earlier, that doesn't make that much of a difference. And you certainly wouldn't want to give up mage recruitment usually for those. I don't know. That's for. I see, so these are his researchers. At 65 gold, 10 research, that's amazing, of course. But they have no magic path. Oh yeah, they can research even though they do not have any magical skill. So all these ever do is research. And they're pretty old. Doesn't really matter if you're a 65 gold guy, dies of old age, so... And you would never want to take these into combat, of course. They do nothing. I see, so that's why he's doing so well on research. Probably spamming these quite a bit. Are these cap only? Yes, they are cap only. I see, so maybe his strategy was to build one of these in every turn in the early turns, and since they are so cheap, and then have his Great Sage sit there and boost them up even more, and that's how he got so ahead in research. Oh. Mage Engineer, okay, so they have Siege and Castle Defense again. One and one. Not sure about that. Like, they have one air and one earth, so if they have a 2 and 5 chance to get a 2-point magic path, which is good. And I guess if they're Astro 1, they can go into Communion, which is probably not what you want from them. Maybe 125 gold, yeah, that's probably exactly what you want from them. So 3 out of 5 should be decent, but if they get a water or a fire, they're completely useless. Has a lot of randomness, like 5 paths, and 2 are good and 1 is okay. Well, I suppose I should at least respect the 2 earth, because I know 2 earth is good already for earth melt and stuff like that, so. Oh. Okay, so that's a lot of things. 2 air, 1 earth and 3 nature, so that's probably a good caster. Again, I don't know what high-end nature looks like. But 2 air is already a good start. I see. So if they get air on nature, they're amazing, I'm guessing, because air 3 gives you Thunder Strike, which is a great spell. Not sure what you get at nature 4, but probably something nice. And earth 2 is okay, and water random is useless, unless they are used for crossbows. And they even have a chance to go from good to amazing. Sacred, okay, all 6, that's a lot of all. Resistant, stealthy, once my recuperation. This is a great skill, I think, a bit underrated. And seduction. Oh yeah, that's like an assassination, except you have a chance to get the commander. And that explains why I was seeing a master of 5 elements on Arcos side. I was wondering how that happened. I thought he had maybe gotten a random spawn. Okay, so bordering to friendly territory. So I'm safe from that because I'm not bordering Arco anywhere. Unless the seducer is able to fly with a victim, flying away. But he can't fly, so. Okay, so I'm safe from the seduction side of these for the time being. I look to be pretty good casters, but I know I can deal with the air magic because Selim has much better air magic and I can deal with that. And it's not like Selim has something I'm actually afraid of, and that is Storm, which means everyone else can empower Storm, empower air, and then spams Thunder Strikes, which is not something that Arco can do because they just don't have the air on the other guys. So depends a bit on how good nature is. And I've never seen nature used to good effect by an enemy, which is not really a surprise since this is my first multiplayer game and the AI isn't that great overall, so you should look into that at some point. But yeah, seems like pretty good troops. I would be surprised if these aren't what he recruits every turn or every other turn as it is. Windlord, flying and sacred. Okay, so probably leading the winds, not lords, to battle and has no other use. Again, very, very low hit points. Not great thug material, I think. So we have slingers, and these are just generic slingers which do nothing. And it's not like you can go to flaming arrows, so probably won't build any of those peltasts. That's a pretty great troop, I think. Bit resource intensive, but that's why he took protection 3 scales. Low protection, but here's a shield, javelins, and defense 13. So my guess would be that you wouldn't want to put these into melee too much. So, but you put them behind your front line, have them throw their spears, and then move into melee, where they will only spend a turn or two, because at that point someone will draw probably. And when they get into melee, they won't lose too many, because they have defense 13 even with their bad protection, and can withstand archer fire somewhat even with low protection thanks to a parry 4 shield. Honestly, these look like amazing troops, not for their stats amazing, but just for what you get for the price. Very, very efficient. And we know he has been building a lot of those, so... Carter case. I know there's a hard K and a hard C here, because I remember these from a book I once read about Persian war thing with they cost the same word on 2 more resources, same defense. They have 9 protection, so 4 more than the other guys. They have formation fighter and the spear, which length 4 is good, and yeah, same shield. So basically these trade the javelins in for formation fighter and some more protection, and cost 2 resources more. We know he has a lot of those, and I can see why. You probably want to put a lot of these in the front with formation fighter, put them in a line formation, and then put the javelin guys behind that, mages behind that, and these should hold the line fairly well. They're on morale 10, but all your leaders have +1, so... And they won't take that heavy losses with 13 defense and 9 protection, so... Again, not great troops from the stats, but super efficient, I think. Myrmidons, we've already seen those somewhere. Much more expensive, especially in resources, 28 resources. A bit higher hit points, 17 protection is ridiculous. Same defense skill on, they're on 30 morale, so they are the front line in front of the front line, really. Or map move 6, map move 1, that is incumbents 9. Oh, I see. And a short sword instead of a spear. And we know he has a number of those, we've seen the scout reports, but... Not sure if that's really what you want, or if you wouldn't just build that many more Carter case. I suppose if you're gold locked and not resource locked. I mean, they have 70 protection, that's amazing. Like, if you put them in front, their opponent's archers, and they even have the same shield, so archers do nothing to them. Like, straight up nothing. And they should tank a lot of things, don't run away. They're just so slow. But yeah, it's good to know that everyone has defense 13 and varying levels of protection and fairly low hit points, so good to know. Chariot archer. Okay, so this is a trampler with a short bow for 55 gold, and they have still very low protection, or not for a trampler anyway, and super low hit points, they're like ridiculously low, but they have nice defense skill. And these, I think, is the same, except for they don't have a short bow, which isn't much of a loss, and they're 10 gold cheaper. I'm sure you wouldn't want to build the chariot archers and just the chariot guys. Unless he can fire the shoko in melee, in which case you might want them. But either way, I don't think you want either of those. Just way too squishy. Tramplers are usually great for expansion, but these I wouldn't try. Yeah, these are the non-commander flying guys. Slightly above average overall. Short zone. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of these invading my lands with their map movement 2 flying thing. These look kinda gimmicky. Don't think you would want to use them too much. The Wind Riders, maybe those are his secrets. Flying, yeah, like the Wind Lords, of course. Again, very low hit points with high protection and defense. Very high protection and it's amazing defense. These look a bit squishy, just a bit, compared to how much gold they cost. Like, I'm pretty sure you overpay for the flying. But they are map movement 3 flying guys. He probably doesn't build any of these, or very few. Like, if you have a Water Blast maybe for the +4 protection, I could see that. But like this, I think then they just get pierced to death. Yeah, so none of those. So what does it mean? Means not particularly strong battlefield magic, with a huge number of quality troops. The defense skill 13 means that my pale ones won't hit them. Like, no, that's just not happening with their attack skill of 8. And in return, they'll just get stabbed to death and javelined to death. Not too afraid of the javelins because of the shields and legions of steel and all that. So that's not horrible. Unlike Sealum, Bladewind won't do anything against these masters, so I need to check what I'll do instead. Depending on his exact makeup. We'll probably research up to Magma Eruption and just kill these guys, just like all his casters. A low hit point, low protection, so an Earthquake cast should kill all these, except for even the Oriats. They don't fly, they have protection 1, they have 10 hit points. Oh, I see. So basically I just need to see what I do about high armor, or somewhat high armor, high defense skill troops, and a lot of those. Could even just go for, honestly, just earth melding these guys. Should be pretty bad, because they rely on their defense skill, not their protection of 9. So if they get earth melded, they just die. These, not so much, they have protection 17, but still. 17 isn't 20. Yeah, overall, I'm not scared of Arco at all. I'm scared of really things that I don't know, and I don't know nature magic, but I haven't seen nature magic used well so far, so I'm not scared of it yet, really. And the troops just don't look like they match up very well against mine. And that's it for Arco. See you in game.